Welcome back to Living Richardson. I'm your host, Sam Richardson. Today's episode is different. It's a love letter, a confession, a reckoning, and a thank you. It's about my daughter, who I only had earthside for 6 weeks. It's about how her death changed everything, and how 16 years later, on the anniversary of losing her, I found myself at an event surrounded by women I would have been terrified to talk to at 19, realizing that my pain had somehow, impossibly, turned into purpose. 16 years ago, I was 19 years old, planning a funeral instead of a future. I had just given birth 6 weeks prior, and then I had to say goodbye. There are no guidebooks for that. No cute Instagram accounts with affirmations or pastel grids for how to survive losing your first child to a heart defect. Just me, some crushed dreams, and a funeral home that smelled like lilies in denial. Everyone around me went quiet, and I learned something very early on. Society doesn't know what to do with grieving mothers. We make people uncomfortable. We remind them that life isn't fair, that babies die, and no one wants to sit in that discomfort. So I shut it all down, tucked it away. I smiled. I hustled. I played the role of the girl who survived. But inside, I was stuck, angry, hollow. When I held my daughter in my arms as she passed, I remember thinking, how am I supposed to survive this? I was just a teenager. I didn't have a plan. I didn't even know how to begin grieving, let alone live again. The world told me to move on, and I tried. But for a long time, I just existed. Grief has this way of becoming a shadow, always there, even if no one else can see it. For years, I lived with that shadow in silence, and yet somehow, one step at a time, I kept moving forward. I had more children, I fell in love, I built a career, and even through the healing, the grief was never gone. I just learned to carry it differently. 16 years is a long time, and looking back now, I'm in awe of how much my life has changed. Fast forward through a lot of messy chapters, trauma, survival, becoming a mother again, and about 57 personality pivots. I ended up here. A mom of 3, a wife, a creator, a woman who accidentally became an advocate by refusing to shut up about things people wanted me to keep quiet. I've told hard stories, fought for my family, healed from trauma, and built a life I never thought was possible. Not because the pain disappeared, but because I finally allowed myself to use it. I built the life I used to dream of as a child. Safety, stability, love that doesn't come with strings or apologies, a house where no one is screaming at me, a bed I feel safe in, a partner who doesn't flinch at my darkness, who sat beside me in a courtroom, spent 20 grand on my defense, and told me I was worth fighting for. Who the hell saw that coming? There are so many moments that I thought would break me for good, but somehow they became the foundation for something stronger. It's not a straight line. It's a mosaic of survival and sarcasm, for fighting for joy like it owes me rent. But what changed the most? I stopped pretending my pain was a footnote. I made it the headline. I always knew I wanted to create something in honor of my daughter, Kaydance. Something that would let the world know she existed, that I loved her, that she mattered. I didn't want her name to disappear into the silence the way so many babies do. But I also didn't want it to just be about her death. I wanted it to reflect my love and also the grief that shaped me. I just didn't know it yet. Over the years, I'd speak about her, then silence myself when I saw how her name brought on an ease of discomfort. The truth is, I was still fighting my way through it. I was surviving, parenting, healing from other traumas, and trying to find my footing in a world that expects you to move on when a baby dies. But grief doesn't follow a schedule. And for me, it wasn't just about losing her, it was everything that came after. The silence, the shame, the way my body kept moving, but inside I was stuck. As time has passed and things shifted, I have more life behind me, more healing under my belt. I've learned how to carry my grief with both hands, honoring it without letting it define every part of me. And I realized I'm ready. I finally have the growth, the experience, and the clarity to do something real with it. And that's when I started The Silent Mother, first as a podcast. I wanted to create a space where mothers like me could speak freely, share their stories, cry without apology, and be seen without having to explain their pain. But as it grew, I realized something bigger was calling to me. It wasn't just about conversations. It's about connection. These women didn't just need to be heard. They needed a place to belong. So I adapted, and the Silent Mother Project was born. It's no longer just a podcast. It is a living, breathing community. A space for grieving mothers to be witnessed, supported, and surrounded by others who get it. It's for every mother who's ever whispered their baby's name into the dark, wondering if anyone else remembers. We remember, and now we can remember together. The Silent Mother Project is raw and real. It's not pink ribbons and whispered prayers. It's for the moms who sat in the dark after a miscarriage and pretend they're okay because they have to clock in at work the next morning. It's for the women who lit candles at midnight for the babies no one knew about. It's for the ones who bled in silence, grieved in silence, and still showed up the next day to make lunches and survive. This project exists because silence almost killed me, and I know I am not the only one. The Silent Mother Project is a space where we name our grief, honor our children, and fight the stigma of invisible motherhood. Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just forgetting how to breathe in the baby aisle at Target, or whispering, "I'm sorry," like it was our fault they didn't survive. My incredible friend Katie, my right hand in all of this, and also the person who yells at me lovingly when I start to spiral, is helping me bring this vision to life, and I cannot wait to share with you what we've been working on. When I told her about the idea, she didn't hesitate. She jumped all in. And if you've ever tried to start something meaningful from your living room while you're juggling motherhood, chronic stress, and the occasional identity crisis, you know how important that is. Just last week, on the 16th anniversary of my daughter's passing, Katie and I attended the For Women First event hosted by the Women's Endowment Fund of the Akron Community Foundation, and I could feel it in my chest. This was full circle. I wasn't that scared 19-year-old anymore. I wasn't silent. I wasn't invisible. I was standing in a room filled with strong, powerful women as a strong, powerful woman. And I realized I am one of them now. I don't say that with ego, I say it with awe, because I remember the girl who could barely breathe. I was there not just as a mother who had experienced loss, but as someone who has built something from that loss. It hit me like a wave. I had become the woman I once needed. Maybe the world just needed someone like me to show up and remind it that broken girls don't stay broken. We rebuild, we rise, and sometimes we start a damn movement. My daughter didn't die for nothing. Her life, however short, has created ripples that will never stop moving. If you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for listening, for feeling this with me. Maybe you've walked your own version of this story. Maybe you're still in it. Maybe no one's ever told you this, so let me be the one. You are not alone. Whether you've lost a child, a pregnancy, a version of yourself, or the future you thought you'd have, you are a part of this story too. This project was built with you in mind. It's not just mine, it is ours. I invite you to listen to the Silent Mother podcast. It's where we hold space for the stories that often go unheard, the raw, real, and sacred journeys of mothers who carry invisible grief. And whether you're ready to share your own story or hear someone else say the words you've been holding inside, there's a seat for you there. We have officially launched our private forum at thesilentmotherproject.com, a safe, intentional space for grieving mothers and those who carry invisible loss. It's a place where you can share your story or simply be held in silence. No small talk, no judgment, just a community of women who understand the language of loss without you having to translate it. And if you're local to Northeast Ohio, we are hosting our first in-person gathering on April 16th. It won't be fancy or performative. It'll be real, honest, safe. Just a room where you can show up exactly as you are without having to shrink or explain your grief. If you've been craving that kind of space, this is it. Check the website for full details on how to RSVP. We've also officially launched our Kickstarter campaign, which runs until April 19th. This fundraiser will help bring the Silent Mother Project to life in lasting, tangible ways. From events and memorial spaces to retreats, supporting materials, and scholarships for mothers who need help accessing care and resources. If this project has touched you, if this podcast has made you feel less alone, if you believe in creating spaces where women can grieve out loud, this is your moment to help us build it. You don't have to speak to be part of this movement. Just showing up matters. Listening matters. Giving what you can, whether it's your time, your story, your resources, or your presence. It all matters. Because 16 years ago, I thought my story had ended. But it turns out, it was just the beginning. And now we get to write the rest together. I'm still Kaydance's mother. I always will be. And now through this project, I get to mother her in the most powerful way I know, by making sure no other mother walks through this silence alone. Thank you for being here today, for holding space for this story, for listening, for feeling, for remembering. If this episode spoke to you, please share it. Tell a mother she's not alone. If you have a story of your own, whether it's about loss, healing, survival, or the quiet in between, I would be honored to hold space for you on the Silent Mother podcast. If you feel ready to share or just curious, reach out. You can connect with me through thesilentmotherproject.com or find one of my multiple social media channels at Living Richardson. Your story matters, and I would love to help you share it in your own words, in your own time, when you're ready. If no one's told you lately, your grief is not too heavy, your story is not too much, and your love, no matter how brief its time here, still matters. You are not alone in the silence anymore. Together, we're turning pain into purpose. One voice, one story, one mother at a time. And we're just getting started. Thanks for listening.